Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Lawman and I am presenting my comprehensive case study. For my case study, I chose to use the KTEA3, and in that protocol, it focuses on letter and word recognition, reading comprehension, math concepts and application, math computation, written expression, and spelling. And the student I worked with, her name is Sienna Ballwins. She is 11 years, 2 months, and 17 days, and she is in 5th grade at Peter Sarpy Elementary. At school, she is involved in student council and just an all-around good student. At school, she's a really positive role model. Her mom said that she really enjoys working with other students to help them out in the classroom and any social situations that may occur at school. Her parents are Stephen and Stephanie, and she does not have any siblings. She's an only child. Outside of school, she participates in a volleyball league, and her parents rescue dogs, so they foster dogs on the side. So when I went over there, it was lots of dogs, but it was so much fun. For academics, she earns A's and B's. She's a really good student. She is in an advanced reading program. She has really strong attendance and really misses school. And like I said before, she's just a really strong role model for peers. She models that appropriate behavior, strong school expectations. She's just an all-around great girl. How she did on the KTEA, she did really well. Her scores did fall within the average range for all the areas. They averaged between 127 down to 103, which was her lowest score. So I will go over those now. So for her letter and word recognition, she scored a standard score of 111, which put her in the 77th percentile. And she did a really nice job with letter and word recognition. Some of these words were something she had never seen before. So she really showed me that she has a really strong background in sound and letter recognition and can really problem solve through those words and knows how to connect the sounds, knows what letters make when they are put together. So she had a really strong knowledge base of that, which helped her score so high in this area. And when it came to new sounds, I could definitely see her working through those sounds in her head and saying them to herself before she said them out loud. So for this area, I really don't have any recommendations because she did score within the average range. So she needs to just keep doing what she's doing. Her mom is a reading coordinator, so she gets a ton of exposure and practice of new words. And then her advanced reading program, provides her with some of that new vocabulary that's a little bit higher level for her. So she has that continual practice and exposure to it. So then for reading comprehension, she scored 127, which put her in the 96th percentile, which was above average. Reading is definitely her strong suit. Her comprehension was amazing. She can definitely read above her grade level. I believe when I did her grade equivalents, she was between 9th grade and 11th grade for some of the reading areas. So reading is definitely a strong suit, and having her in that advanced reading program is definitely benefiting her because she's getting that exposure to complex reading passages and that practice to continue to build those skills. And she definitely does not show a need in this area for any type of intervention. She would probably be a great student to sit down and read with other students and be that positive role model in that way. So any type of intervention, she should be supporting other students and showing them how to read and be a really positive role model for that. Math concepts and application, she scored within the average range there. She scored 110, which put her in the 75th percentile. For this, she really relied on using paper and pencil, which a lot of our students do. The mental math is just not as important and heavily focused on as much as it was probably when I was a student. I know I can still spew my multiplication facts left and right. So she definitely struggled when You had to pull the paper and pencil away, and she had to try and figure it out using those mental math concepts. So, and that really does also tells me that she's a visual learner, where if she's able to write it down, she's going to be more successful. Still with that score, I have no concerns about it, about how well she's doing in math. She's doing a great job. Just continue to probably build some of those mental math skills, because she's going to need them as she gets into high school, into those higher algebra classes where she has to be able to solve those multiplication problems before she can move on to the rest of the problem. Next is math computation, and she scored 123. And this, again, in this examination protocol, she had the paper and pencil. She was able to have that visual component, which she's so successful with, to help her get through this. She had a booklet of math problems, and she had 10 minutes to do as many as she could. And she did really a great job, even with some problems she probably had never seen before, because she is only in 5th grade. She went up into algebra and some trigonometry problems, which is amazing for a 5th grader to even try to attempt. She did start hopping around a little bit because she just was not aware that those problems probably existed, and she tried her best. She has a really strong knowledge base of math that helped her complete the more complex problems. So having that paper and pencil and just that really strong knowledge base really helped her to be successful in this computation area. Written expression, this started to be a little bit more difficult for her. She had great ideas when it came to the free writing portion. She just really struggled with how and what type of punctuation do I need to end this with? Where do I need to put a comma? Where can I take out words to make this sound more fluid rather than choppy? And then for the beginning portion of the written expression, I had to read to her a passage, and she had to add in words or add in punctuation. And this is where I really saw her begin to struggle with adding that punctuation at the end. She just forgot about it. She finished what she had to write and then moved on and was ready for the next thing, which I'm sure we see a lot with our students when we are giving them this lengthy type of examination. They just want to get it done and get through it. So, but she did a really nice job of trying to push past that, get through it. And she, when it came to the free write, she had wonderful ideas. Like I said before, just really great ideas, a lot of voice, which is what we look for in our students when they are in 5th grade. She had well-represented voice, but just some of those grammatical errors really brought down her score. She still scored within the average range of 114 and in the 82nd percentile, but she definitely needs to just continue practicing and becoming a little bit more aware of adding that punctuation at the end, adding in commas, and spelling was not a part of this, so she spelled words incorrectly. It wasn't taken off, but it was just like mostly focusing on those commas and grammatical things. Spelling, this is where she actually scored the lowest. She scored 103 and was ranked within the 58th percentile, which was it's still in the average range, but for her, she just scored so low compared to her other areas. She had the basic concept of the word structure correct. She just really struggled with what letters do I put in to make up for this sound. And just as the words got harder, the more she struggled. She still was within grade level, right on grade level with this, but with everything else, she was above grade level. So for spelling, this is the one area I do have recommendations for her, just because I know as she gets more advanced into that reading program, the spelling needs are going to get higher. And with writing, the spelling needs are going to get higher, and the expectation is there to know how to spell specific words. So for her spelling recommendations, I really like Spelling Mastery. It's something that I use with my special education students, as well as my kids that are not verified, but, need that boost with reading and writing. And spelling is such a large component of it. So I've picked up using Spelling Mastery with these kids, and it allows students to really pick up on the patterns of words. So those silent E's, CVC, blends, it really introduces them to that. And it's a circular pattern. It comes back throughout the lessons. Everything comes back around. So it really gives students the phonemic rules and becoming aware of them and what letters sound with these letters, how to spell them, and different components like that. And it's a really strongly research supported program. I used it in student teaching a couple years ago, and I'm using it now. And it just focuses on that whole word approach and building letter sound relationships. So I think this is going to be a really strong program for Sienna to use. It can be done during the end of her reading block, and it can be done in her classroom. She doesn't have to have pull out for it. It can be done with a group of students who show the same needs as she does. So out of all of this, spelling is definitely my only area of recommendation for Sienna. She really showed me that all of her other areas, math, reading, writing, she's on track and doing an excellent job with that. I just would like her spelling to improve, so then later on she's continues to be successful in that area. So those are my recommendations. Thank you very much. Have a good night.